What's going on, everybody? Welcome back for Lead the Leaders hashtag IBB Top 3
Trilogy.
Part 2. So, first was about being a leader and what leadership is and being being a leader basically in every moment of your life.
Basically.
So if you missed it, you got to check it out. But why don't you take us into number 2?
Number 2 is about language and being careful about what you say and how you communicate. Because that's harder than you think.
That's the hardest thing ever.
It really is. So you want to be sure that the words you're using truly convey what you're trying to say. And especially when you're a leader, especially if it's text message, email, sometimes that can be a little difficult because you don't understand the emphasis, the importance, the gist of it. You know, sometimes a good old conversation really takes you farther.
Good old conversation.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm a big texter myself, but you get your friends asking you the weirdest questions. You're like, why? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, because of what I said, right?
And I feel like too, and obviously you're leading a team, and you're trying to help our board of directors be on the same page with you, and then obviously in everything that you do. I literally this morning had so Sarah Spence with Spence Technology, she's helping us with our golf outing, and same deal. I was like, I've realized that the text messaging, the emails, and we are farther ahead planning this golf outing, but since we haven't had a human in person or on the phone conversation, it feels like we're completely disconnected. We're like feeling way better after this but even I've started to actually call people on the phone instead of texting or email, just because I'm like, you just can't get it across even when you say it 12 different ways.
Right.
So that's my rant, and I might be seeking help here. So what when you're saying, all right, I need impeccable language, I need to communicate. Please, universe, allow me to be heard how I mean it.
Right.
I understand how I mean it. So what are some things that have worked, and then also too, what are some things that have not worked?
Well, you have to make sure that you're not using a bunch of acronyms if people don't understand exactly what you're talking about,
Yes.
or if you shorten a word, you have to make sure to use all of it. And you also have to know how to use, your influential language as well.
Okay.
If you're trying to get a point across, how you react, respond, and feel, if it doesn't come across and show with your language, because that's a benefit of being in person, right?
Yes.
You can write the same words in an email or on a text, but if you are in person, then you understand my passion.
Right.
You understand my passion
you get
for
the tones,
this project,
the
right?
nonverbals, all that. Yeah.
And so
okay.
you can gain better compliance just through someone understanding how much it means to you. And in your personal life, it's the same way. You really want...
Especially...
Right. You really want to convey what you're thinking, feeling, because behind every word, there are emotions that go with it.
Correct.
And whether we like it or not, we're human and we're emotional, and that's just a part of the whole package.
Yeah.
So you have to play to our strengths as well as our weaknesses, and emotions can be both. So really understanding. But if you have an employee who doesn't feel that they're providing the job that you want, and you send them a number of emails, even if you add some reassuring words, it's not the same as sitting down and going, you did a great job on that last project. And there's still a few things we need to work out, but let's talk about how good that last project went. How can we continue that good performance? So you can set somebody at ease, and I think that's important too.
Do you ever I shouldn't say, it's not that you schedule, obviously you're not scheduling compliments, because obviously just one day it could be crazy and you're like, hey team, great job, that was a crazy day, that was not normal, but do you try to set aside human time? I guess, what are there some things that you do or some things that you try to practice that helps you keep that connection and not lose the language
Right.
that you're trying to communicate.
So the drive-by compliment, which is, I'm going this way, they're
Okay.
going that way. Hey, I noticed yesterday you did this and it was a great job.
Okay.
So you're not pulling them into an office, you're not trying to make it official, but you're marking it in time as quickly as you can.
Drive-by compliment. Write that down. Drive-by. Hey, how's it going? You did a great job today. All right. So, but that's a huge.
We're
that's a
not
huge difference.
stagnant. In
Yeah.
my business,
Yeah.
there's a couple people with offices and then everybody is milling
Yeah.
about. So if I waited and asked them to come into my office, by the time they got to me, it's just too late. So what I want to do is make the compliment as quickly as I can, or hey, I noticed you helped
Mhm.
so-and-so today, that was really great. Just some of those little things, but then, what you have to do is also put it in your head and then make sure it ends up on the review. So if you've marked it in real time, then you also want to mark it on paper. You want to make them know that, this stayed in my memory long. It's going to stay in their memory longer, but it stayed in my memory long enough for me to talk about it again in their review. So
Gotcha.
that's really important. And when you can give personalized examples of how they've either done wonderful things or something that could have been a little better, they know you thought about their
Yeah.
review.
Yeah.
I was on your mind.
You're using facts, not your own bias or opinion kind
Right.
of thing. So.
And it's not
Cool.
secondhand knowledge. I know what happened.
Correct.
I saw what you did, and I really, really
I was
appreciate it.
here.
And but we're all so busy. A text isn't going to do it. It really,
Yes.
if you can do it in person, do it. But seek them out, make the time to do it.
Yeah. That you talked about in the previous video about not impeding, leading without impeding, and like communicating without impeding, like that drive-by compliment, or making sure that you have you have that quick conversation while you're not impeding, you're not going in their office and we need to talk, or like, hey, come into my office. I know you're in the middle of something, but come talk to me.
You just cleaned 2 dog kennels,
Yeah.
but I want to let
Yeah.
you, when you're done with this one, let me know. Okay, great,
Yeah.
I want to tell you this.
Yeah.
It's because certain jobs are more stagnant, other jobs are much more fluid, and so, you got to catch it while you can.
Mhm.
My biggest thing, I don't want to impede. I don't want to hold somebody's progress up. And the other thing that people like is ask them how you can help. How can I help? Because they'll tell everybody else what's wrong,
Right.
but what you need is the positive. And
Correct.
so, go to them and ask them, how can I help you? This morning I said, I noticed you're having a hard time getting finished, in this section in the morning before we open. How can I help? Putting another employee there, would that help? How can we
Yeah.
make this work? So just really looking for that feedback, because it's, I hate to say gears on a wheel, but it really is. All the spokes have to come together, and and when one's out of whack, it dampers the whole team.
Yes. The wheels flying off on your drive-by compliments and all that. Yeah.
If people only hear from you when they've done something wrong, that's not
good.
nice.
No,
right.
and it definitely it's just that it's depressing when you have that nothing's ever good enough.
Right.
It's like not everybody goes to work because they want to. Not everybody's fulfilled completely by just
Right.
work. But it just I think back to like some of my jobs I necessarily like, but I liked my boss.
Right.
And there were certain ones that would drive-by compliment, and you'd hang on to it for like 3 months, like, yes, I am worth
It's
something.
true.
I'm not just summer help, like just
It's true.
And those are important. So circling back to, I don't know whether it is books you've read, experiences that you've been a part of. Like, is there any language don'ts? Like, we got some language do's, but like some language don'ts that like you feel like maybe we try with the best intent. We have certain conversations and they always seem to backfire.
Don't be too casual. Don't
Okay.
treat them like your best friend and
Okay.
drop bombs and things like that. You still have to lead them, so you can relax and bring it down, but you're still their boss, and so you have to make sure. Think about if you would respect somebody if they were your boss. If you kind of had had loose talk with them. And so you
Mhm.
just had to remember that. One thing that I think helps people is that, many times in your job you hit a status quo and then things need to change.
Mhm.
And I think that it's really important to warn people that status quo isn't good enough anymore. And we're gonna be
Gotcha.
making changes, and we wanna make our programs better and do brainstorming meetings with how we can make it better, so they're a part of the process,
Mhm.
and then move forward. So the don't there is, don't just change everything and tell them this is what is,
Yeah.
pull them into the process.
Gotcha. Okay. Making part of it
Yeah,
ownership. Yeah. No, that's cool. So that's where, that was gonna be my next question, but kind of already answered it with just, how do you get them to grow
right.
with the organization or with you, kind of thing. But yeah, obviously, if you're growing together,
Right.
if you're in the same garden, leadership garden, then you'll be getting the same amount of water and nutrients and everything.
The
Cool.
other thing I always say is if you need to come in and vent, you tell me first you're venting.
Yes.
And then
Full disclosure, I'm
you
venting.
can sit in
Yeah.
the chair and you can say whatever it is you need to say. And then we'll talk constructively of how we can make this better.
Right.
But I need to know that you're venting.
Mhm.
So that's for anyone underneath you. For you, you don't get the opportunity to vent.
Yeah.
You've got to vent outside of the house.
Yeah.
You have to vent to someone else.
Yeah. You need your venting buddies.
Mhm. But it's good,
So-
people will get up to here, they have a stressful day, whether it's home
Mhm.
or there, and they come in, they sit down, I got a vent, I'm like, go for it. Just let it rip. And I
There
don't
you go.
care how they present it, I really don't. If I know that this is,
If this is a vent, I understand.
that's absolutely fine.
It's not a vent. We got something's
Correct.
clearly broken.
Correct.
So, is this a vent?
Is this a vent?
I feel like everybody should have little signs on their desk, or maybe with little name tags like, "Is this a vent?"
Right. If you
Are
need
you
to,
venting? Are
you
like,
can. And you just come on in, plop down, and have at it. Because sometimes they walk out and they've taken a big breath,
Mhm.
they've relaxed, and then they can move forward.
And it's obviously like none of us truly carries the weight of the world on our shoulders. However, things have a way of stacking up, and it feels like it. And then an event allows us to. Do you set a time limit on the vent? Do you say like, "Hey, if you're gonna vent, let's get in the vent mobile and let's rock out"?
I've never had an event last for more than like 5 minutes. It's just like a rant.
Yes.
People just they're just done. They're frustrated. Everything's
Yeah.
piled up, and they just need to be like. And many times it's I feel. I feel things. I
Mhm.
feel like this. I feel like that.
Yeah.
And when she said this, it made me feel like that. And blah blah blah. So instead of really being constructive, it's more about emotions, and they just needed to top
Get
them
out.
off. So that's fine.
And when you preface it with it, because if I don't get your permission to vent, then I spend the next 30 minutes not truly venting, trying to
Right.
talk about language, for using trying to use the right language to say how I really feel, and I'm in and out, and what should have been 5 minutes is now
Right.
5 hours, 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 months, 5 years.
Right. And it
And
never
nothing
truly
ever-
comes out. Right.
Yeah, it never resolves itself because it's still weighing.
Right, and then I hear the frustration. What I took from all of this is X, Y, and Z. And they're
Mhm.
like, so what really bothers you most is this. Yeah, because a lot of times there's threads. There's common
Yes.
threads through
Yes.
all the things that piled up.
Yes.
And then, but they can't see it because they're too, emotionally wrought with it.
Oh, it's so hard to see yourself. It is so hard to see
Shadow
yourself.
sides are even harder. But
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, I'm fine with that. And, if people let loose, whatever. But what I don't want is somebody walking in and screaming at me and creating a dynamic where it's unprofessional, because I won't tolerate
Yes.
that. That I will send you out and ask
Yeah.
you to walk around for 15 minutes and come
Yeah.
back, and we're going to try
Take a
again.
lap. Yeah.
But if you come in with a vent, that's fine. So it's just, ways that, I try to let people blow steam off. The other thing, and sometimes when people might need to vent, is because their words say one thing and their body language says another.
Yeah.
it's incongruent, and so you know they're just telling you what they think I want them to say, or I want to hear, when I know that's not true. And so those, probably not best to do it in the public space, but to get them in a quiet space and be like, you're not on board, I can tell, do you care to share why?
Yeah, because even too, like, now that I was like turning my body to try and like, but even now I'm sitting here and I feel like she doesn't care when I don't think she, like, now I'm in. Now I'm into, like, Lee's, sorry to, like, cut you off there.
No, you're
even
fine.
I'm like, yeah, my nonverbals, what are my nonverbals saying? Like, so I'm at the,
But I'm a behavioralist, so
but that's perfect. That's perfect, because
that's also what I do.
Is there anything that you try to focus, so they're talking about, like, nonverbals? Because obviously nonverbals say more than any words do.
So when you have a meeting, look around the room and really look. It'll tell you all you need to know.
Okay. You can't stand me. You hate me. All right, cool.
But does any of that matter? No.
No.
So you look at the mission of your organization, and is the team moving towards the mission?
You don't have to like me to do a great job.
No, but if you're not engaged with me at all during a meeting, I'm probably going to spend more time with you to try to figure out
what's wrong.
Yeah. And is it something I did, something I said? Maybe it's not me at all, so I can't really take everything personally, but if I do know that I have the potential to kind of reinforce a relationship, I'm going to make that time, or I'm going to take that time. So, the organization moves along as well as your relationships do. And that's with your colleagues, that's with your vendors, that's with your staff.
Yeah.
It's just being a leader, there's a lot of different layers, and you can only focus on so many at one time.
Gotcha.
But, what you don't want to be is the person who puts all the energy into the employee that demands it, because then you're not handing out the accolades to the individuals. You're not doing the drive-bys. Drive-by thank yous or drive-by I appreciate yous, because you're focusing on this other piece. So, it's just really learning to kind of divide your time and give it to everybody.
I love it. I still apologize to some of my former team members that I'm like, I am so sorry. You were a rock star, and I completely, it's not even so much I ignored them. I was like, they're fine. Like, I'm just like,
right.
you get so
simple,
you just get so tunnel vision on the troublemaker, it's not about everybody being happy all the time. It's about everybody moving towards the mission, towards the objective, and so. And
status quo is comfortable, but it's not progress.
It's not good. If you're not moving forward,
That's right.
then we're in trouble. So, very cool. All right, that was quite the language conversation. Anything else that you would add?
No, I think that's it.
I think we've communicated pretty well, so.
I agree.
Well, thank you for joining part 2 of the IBB Top 3 Trilogy, and until next time.
Stay burn proof.
Love it. You do a great job with it.